On Monday, the FBI raided the office and hotel room of President Trump's personal lawyer, Michael Cohen. Agents seized business records, emails, and documents relating to several topics. Among those topics include payments to Stormy Daniels and Cohen's efforts to suppress other negative information about Trump. Here to break down the raid and discuss its significance are Talking Points analysts Dan Prager and Brandon Ross. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. Now, Dan, I'll start with you. How does the nature of this latest probe how does that relate to the depth of this Bob Mueller probe?
Well, I think it shows that they have something deep. I mean, the amount of requirements they needed to get through to this, to make this raid happen. This is a personal lawyer of the President of the United States. You needed the Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein. You needed another judge in Manhattan who was a Trump appointee, both to sign off on these things. So it shows that you needed a lot of evidence to get those two guys to sign off on something like that. It shows they have something that they're actually looking for that Michael Cohen has. It shows that they have something on Cohen, and it might create a strain between Cohen and the president.
And what's the significance of Trump's reaction when it comes to this?
Well, Trump was very furious at this action, said he had been considering firing Bob Mueller, and even at points he had said there are reports he was considering firing Rod Rosenstein. And so he is acting really erratically in terms of response. He may very well want a clean house.
Well, Brandon, like you said, he is considering firing Rod Rosenstein, or that's at least what the reports say. If he does so, is that really going to hamper Bob Mueller's investigation?
Absolutely. It would be it would bring about a bunch of new questions, actually, to Mueller's investigation. First of all, I think the first step to firing Mueller would probably be getting rid of the Deputy Attorney General, which might involve getting rid of Sessions as well, the actual Attorney General. But that remains to be seen. The Deputy Attorney General would be the one who could potentially fire Robert Mueller. But let's say that none of that happens. Mueller finishes his investigation. If Mueller decides not to indict the president, and just for reference, Nixon was not indicted and Clinton was not indicted. A lot of legal scholars say that you cannot indict a sitting president. Let's say that that doesn't happen. Mueller does not indict the president. The person who is allowed to say this information can be released to the public is the person overseeing it, the Deputy Attorney General in this case. If Donald Trump replaces Rod Rosenstein with somebody else who is a Trump sycophant and who says, I won't release this, the results of this investigation may never be known.
Well, let's flip that hypothetical, Dan, right? You said if Bob Mueller is able to finish out this investigation. Let's flip it around. Let's say Bob Mueller is fired, and he's not. Isn't the fact that this referral came from the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of New York, is that a sign that the investigation, at least this part of it, the Michael Cohen part, is going to extend just beyond the Mueller probe?
I think absolutely. I think it's worth noting that that shows a good degree of independence with how significant this information is. Bob Mueller had no direct link to this raid. It was signed off on the attorneys in New York, and Mueller likely gave that information, but it was not directly caused by him.
All right, Brandon Ross and Dan Prager, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
The Syrian